Good.
All right, today we have Brian and Brian B squared, and with goatees as well. So we had the memo. We grew him out for like weeks for this. No, I'm just joking. But so Brian joins me today, and to celebrate some really big wins, some really big successes in his health journey. And just a little bit about me. I've been a health coach, nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, deal with all sorts of different things for like 20 years now. And that's, I hope that's why attracted Brian in the first place. But let's jump in and talk about some of the successes that you've had in our process and coaching together. I'm really excited to share this. And we still have a little bit ways to go, but we have made a tremendous amount of progress in time. So, Brian, share a little bit about who you are, what you do, what keeps you busy every day.
So I make electricity. I work at a power plant. Um, it's a nuclear facility, so I'm currently in license school. I've been in the industry for about 12 years at this point,
Right.
and license school keeps me pretty busy. Um, I been overweight for I don't know, my entire adult life, and I just decided enough was enough. And my we went and visited my grandmother down in Florida, and she was they said she was close to dying. Thankfully, she's still alive at this point, 3 months later.
Yes.
But ran into my cousin. My cousin had lost over 100 pounds, and she looked great. Um, and that was a big encouragement to me because she's just like, "Yep, I started counting calories and working out and just making a decision every day that
Mhm.
I was going to lose weight." And she's like, "You have to make a conscious decision every day that you're going to do it."
Yep.
And that was a big encouragement to me that because she's her whole family has always been uh, overweight.
Mhm.
One of those families that always kind of says, "Yep, we're just an overweight family," and
Gotcha.
all that. And so it was a big encouragement to me that, if she can do
Right.
it, I can do it.
You can do it too.
And
And that's
so
what got you to reach out in the first place, then after that, huh?
that's what got me to start looking. I
Right.
talked to my wife about it, and I said, "Look, uh, I think that I can do it, but I think that I need help. Um, so I'm going to look for a health coach. I'm going to look for something. I don't want to do a fad diet. I've tried a million
Right.
different fads, and having someone that helps keep me accountable every day more than anything else."
Right, definitely. Right. You're a smart guy, right? You work with magical rocks and power, probably a fair percentage of homes and stuff with what you do at work. But what's at home that's keeping you busy? Because I have 4 kids, but you kind of trump me. Yeah, how many kids are
Yeah.
you looking after every day?
My wife and I have 6 kids. We have five biological children, and then we adopted one.
Yeah,
Um,
so that's
so we keep pretty
incredible.
busy. I've got 3 acres, got a million gardens, and re-landscaping the yard. I've cut down about 60 trees in the past couple months at this point. So
Yeah.
hauling wood and using a what is it called, stump grinder and wood chipper and all that
Right.
kind of stuff.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, I think you said your wife says you keep finding things around to add your own honeydew list. It's not that you
yeah,
have
well, it's
a
not just me. I mean, I'm
yeah,
right now. I'm also rebuilding the deck. It's a 2 level deck, and
right,
we don't like the fact that it's 2 levels. So I'm
right,
tearing out the lower level and I'm making it all a single level. So
right, right. So you've got plenty of things to keep you busy, from work to family to backyard stuff. And so what were some of the results that we had experienced together? Like where you start, where we at right now in the process about like a little over 12 to 14-ish weeks or so. So, fill us in. Like, what's been the progress?
So when I started, I was just shy of 340 pounds. I think it was like 338 and change,
Mhm.
339. And 12 weeks later, I'm at 301 pounds. So
Right.
I've, or 300 pounds. I've lost essentially 38 pounds. And it's pretty encouraging to me because
Right.
um, my first major milestone goal is to get below 300.
Right.
So I'm really, really close to that. Really excited. I have
We're on the
been
cusp. That's,
right,
that's pretty
right
good. It
there.
could happen tomorrow, right? It's like what you said, it was like 300.2, and so
Yeah.
we're very, very close to getting under there once and for all. So I'm
Yep.
really excited. I know that you're gonna send me that update as soon as it happens, and we're doing stuff. So what is that like? Yeah, like 12, 13-ish pounds on average per month. And our goal is to do it in a sustainable way. So like, what were you doing before this process together on your own?
Um, so like I said, I've pretty much tried everything. Um, I've tried keto. I've tried intermittent fasting. And you do lose weight with those things.
Right.
It's just for me, it wasn't really sustainable because like we'd have like social events. So I've got a huge family.
Right.
I am one of four children. My wife's one of five, and we both do a lot with our families.
So yeah, there's a lot
So
of people.
there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of birthdays, and there's just a lot of events going on, and Thanksgiving and Christmas and all those things. And it's hard for me to stay on the keto and all of those things for those events, or especially the fasting. Uh,
Right.
I mean, I went so far as at one point I did a 21-day fast, and I know
Oof.
that's not really intermittent at that point. That's just
Right.
fasting.
Right.
But and I lost weight, but it wasn't once I got off, like I gained it all back.
Right. Right. And that's
Um,
a lot of work, effort, and just like even like say mental determination to avoid food for that long. Imagine there's moments of anger that might happen, and your wife's like, "What are you doing? Can you just eat some food and get your
well,
blood sugar levels up?"
it was surprisingly easy once I started. Like
Yeah,
after like three, you don't really get hungry anymore,
yeah,
which didn't make sense to me. But
right, right.
then as soon as I stopped, so I did not realize and did zero research into how to end a fast,
Okay.
and I just started eating again. We actually went to the Brazilian steakhouse, Texas Day Brazil,
Yeah,
uh,
right.
to end the fast, and that was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of gain just from that eating out and
Your
yeah,
body
that's
doesn't know how to process
right,
food when you fasted for
right,
21 days. So it
right.
basically turns into
Digestion
a
has not been working. So,
right. So you turn into a very short straight pipe. And I was in the bathroom very quickly.
oh
So
goodness. Yeah, that's not a pleasurable experience. Oh
no.
goodness. So what
Uh,
about the things that we did together like really made a difference? I remember talking the other day that math was helpful
right.
in this
Yep.
process, but what clicked for not only you, but you in all the other areas of like I remember long testing days. You didn't have a plan around what to do with the food and stuff, and we created better solutions for you. So what were some of
So
those things that made a
part of
difference?
part of my job is because I'm in license school, we have exams every now and then, and I'm at the end of class. So, uh, for example, last week I had what's called my CERT exam, or 2 weeks ago, and it's a 2 week long exam that you're there for 8 hour days.
Right.
you're there. So if you don't bring food, then you don't eat. And sometimes they bring food and sometimes they don't. So
Right.
I've never been great at planning. And Brian and I talked, and basically, I got a lot better at prepping and preparing and having like, a couple cups of broccoli, some chicken, some protein bars. And like right now, I've got 2 boxes of protein bars at my desk at work so that if I do,
Just in case. Right.
I have something
Right.
because my old approach was to basically just not eat and I'll eat when I get home. But then
Right.
when I would get home, I'd have a 30-ounce
Right. You
ribeye with
love to
a sweet
smoke your
potato.
meat and grill out quite a bit. You had
Yep,
some beautiful looking steaks, but we had to tone them down into a more reasonable size. So you packed
yep,
a lot of food besides like protein
yep,
bars. You actually like had meal and food with you, which
right,
we all know when you eat food, the blood sugar goes up. That's just the process of it, but it helps with your brain. Your brain needs glucose to think, and if you're studying and testing on important things like nuclear power, it's good to keep the brain processing so you can get a good grade and keep your job. So
right.
yeah, how did some of the strategies and things work at home? And I know that your wife had some pretty good benefits of just hanging out and doing it along with you.
Yep. So the wife and I did a lot of talking, and she encouraged me to find a coach too because she wanted me to lose weight. She's significantly uh, slimmer than I am,
Mhm.
but she didn't want to be my coach. She didn't want to nag me.
Right.
She wanted me to lose weight, but she
She
wanted
didn't want
someone else.
she didn't want a seventh kid to have to watch
Right.
over, right?
Right. And she's like, I want you to lose weight, but I don't want to be the person telling you every day, hey, you need to lose
Right.
weight. She's like, I don't feel like that is healthy for our relationship either. So that was another reason why we went with you. And the last part was, you telling me that, yeah, she can be on the calls too and listen in, and it can be a team effort.
Yeah.
And her just basically doing the stuff that you told me, she ended up losing 30 pounds and getting down to her ideal weight. And
Yeah.
she's
That's
very
wild.
happy.
Right.
And
That's
um, so, yeah,
that's
she
awesome.
just, we did it. We'd go for walks um, every day. And we haven't for like the last couple weeks because we
The
pretty much get up
backyard
and we start
landscaping.
yard work and
Right.
landscaping. And my
And
coworkers, they
that's
give me
cool
a
too.
hard
Real quick with that is like we didn't like exercise, right? I mean, in the a gym
time.
setup, right? We never sent you gym.
Yep,
Now that is coming at one
yep,
point in the process, but right now you've had wild success walking, doing landscaping and taking care of your property and just being active with your kids and all too. So like a lot of people think that they need to go become Arnold Schwarzenegger at the gym or do a marathon training program or something. That's just not the truth. And it's been able to allow you to get a lot of your backyard fix and change and stuff and the gardens and all that stuff, and that's incredible. uh, so
yeah, yep. We pretty much have gotten up every morning and done something. When we didn't have big projects, we were going for a walk. And my goal has always been 10,000 steps at the beginning.
right.
And then I upped it to 12,000 because I was like, you know what? More is better. And if the minimum's 10, I want to up it just a little bit. With work, a lot of my day is sitting. So we
Right.
would get up and we'd go for a couple-mile walk, get 12,000 steps in prior to me
Right.
leaving. And then everything after that was just gravy. So,
Right, right. And if you think of what a typical day, like say stepwise, a lot of people underestimate the value of just like steps and moving and walking and even like I'm standing and fidgeting and stuff. That's what they call a need non-exercise activity, and that really can help with a losing weight or even a weight maintenance strategy. Now, what a typical day if you weren't paying attention to steps or monitoring it, like with work and then having just busyness of kid stuff, like where would that put you in terms of your daily activity?
Right now, because I'm in school, um, my daily activity is pretty low. I mean, I spend most of the day sitting at a desk.
Right,
So when I didn't do my morning walk, my step count meter by the end of the day would have me at like 3,500, 4,000 steps.
right, right,
Uh,
right.
so that was
You just weren't
obviously
moving enough, period.
right,
Right,
right. Because I mean, you're sitting in class listening to someone talk for 8 hours,
right,
and there's it's it's mentally draining, but
uh-huh, right.
it's
It's not
not actually
physical.
it's
Right,
not
right.
physical at all.
So we had that
So
was something that we actually had to plan out a little bit. And so instead of like say going to a gym and working out, like we found more applicable ways, like walking with your wife or spending time with your kids or digging around in the dirt in the backyard and such, so that you were productive with your time as well. And it worked out in our favor. What about like the food just seemed to work really well for you and your wife? Like the combinations or like the types of food or like some of the guidance there.
I big thing for me was just more than anything else. Give me 1 second. Yes, Sarah,
Mhm.
turn it off, kids.
Yep.
More than anything else, it was just looking at how much I was eating. I've never in my life counted calories and like tracked everything.
Right.
My wife has asked before. She's like, "Hey, have you considered counting your foods, having like a food log and all that stuff?" I'm like, "Nah, that's stupid. I'm not doing that." It's like, like the whole Atkins approach of
Right.
calories don't matter as long as you're eating protein and fat.
Right.
And it's like that works for me. I like protein. I like fat. I'll be fine.
Right. Some of those
Um,
beautiful steaks that you'd share pictures of. But yeah, but
yeah.
we're so much more calorie rich. Now with us, we chose to do some calorie tracking. With others, that's not necessarily the approach that we use. But we do need to be calorie aware, because if not, then eating 300 extra calories in a day than we should could put you more toward calorie maintenance. And just understanding those basic principles of calories in the body and losing weight is really important. So we were able to have better food choices, but even more importantly, better portion control. So you ate everything you wanted to, right?
Yeah, I was actually surprised by basically limiting my the fat intake with like basically, if I want a steak instead of having a ribeye, for example, I could have like
Right,
sirloin because it's got a lot less fat in it. And load up on broccoli and have a salad. And we basically ate a lot of like steak salads and chicken salads and stuff like that, where you just
right.
grill up some chicken, throw it on top of a huge salad, and go to chow town. So um,
Yep,
it's you're making up some of the volume with low calorie healthy foods.
right.
And,
Definitely.
uh,
And what? How many? You have six kids, and you're like a family of like four and five between both you and your wife. So there's like a lot of birthdays and celebrations and get-togethers and all these things that you want to be social with your family. But we were able to find ways to participate in those situations and not, be detrimental to what your goals are, and respect not only your goals but your decision to continue to move forward and getting healthier. All right, I think one side is at a time I said, it's not your birthday tomorrow, right? And you're like, no. Like,
right,
okay, well, I mean, we don't need like all the cake and all the ice cream or whatever to celebrate with them, right? And you're like, okay, fair
right.
enough. So,
And uh, like my kids made, my oldest is going to be 13. She's coming up.
Yeah,
And she made my adopted son's birthday cake. And she
that's
was really
cool.
excited. First cake that she made. So I had like a very small sliver of that because um, I want her to
Right.
see that I value what she did. And that's
Right.
something my wife and I have talked about a lot too. It's not worth offending somebody just because, oh, I'm on a diet, I can't eat that. Like, be
Right.
social. You can still enjoy company. You can still have a nice time and be uh, not be that guy that, oh, I can't have that. I'm on a diet, or
Right.
I'm
Right.
not going to eat that. So it all comes down to planning. If you're tracking it and you have an idea of, okay, well, we're going into this social event. There's probably going to be things that I normally wouldn't eat. So maybe eat a smaller breakfast or smaller lunch beforehand. And
Right.
that way it allows you a little bit more room to be
Right.
social
Right. We had
without.
I like teaching nutrition as like a concept and then helping you understand how to apply the science-backed concepts and information into your everyday life so that you can actually function. It doesn't matter if you're going to a birthday, you have an 8-hour test, you are digging in the dirt for all weekend long and stuff. And then like we actually like made sure that you stopped what you were doing and not just like toiled in the dirt and then just all of a sudden and then you end up eating late in the afternoon evening and just kind of falling into old patterns of behavior around food. So like food behavior, timing, managing that, managing stress around like school, and not going to like say food and stress are obviously paired together quite well as an outlet, and we were able to overcome a lot of those, and that's why we've seen consistent sustainable progress here. uh,
Right.
so if you were taught, if someone's watching this and they were in a similar situation where they just didn't understand what they needed to do, they've tried a bunch of different things with not sustainable results, what advice would you give them?
Honestly, the biggest thing is just get help. Having someone to talk to, and uh, like you've been great in the sense of like, hey, I'm going out to eat with my family. This is where we're going. What do you suggest?
Right.
Um, like we went to, I think, a Mexican place once, and you're like, well, fajitas are great. Lots of eddies. Minimize the calories and all that, and you can still have a nice time. It's just all the all the fad diets. Like the first week is great. Like, oh yeah, go
Right.
me. I'm gonna power through this. And having someone that's not related to you or not your wife that you can bounce ideas off of, that you can
Mm,
get help with,
right.
has been huge. And honestly, just like we talked about earlier, it all comes down to math. As long as your calories in are less than your calories out, uh, you're gonna lose weight. And
Right.
it may be slower, um, but that's why the long-term sustainability is important. It's got
Right.
to be something you can do
Right.
for a
And
long
you're
time.
losing pretty good, 8 to 10-ish pounds in a month is very good, sustainable. So we're ahead of the curve. And like sometimes the weight did come, but then it sometimes it like paused and stuff. So we had to figure out, what was going on or what the strategies were. And so being able to not just, oh, the scale didn't change again, and go into old behavior patterns and overeat. That was really important too. So like when we break through 300, that's just another step in the process and the learning of like, okay, what do I do? How do I manage this? What are some strategies and techniques that are going to help me continue to thrive, keep my metabolism going, and keep me excited about this process and not have things slow down. Because if weight loss was linear, yeah, that'd be something, but it's not. It goes down and it can pause and goes down and pause, and we don't want to like have a birthday party celebration be the thing that pauses you, and then you end up like 2 days later frustrated with what's on the scale, to then basically waste a week of effort and in this
Well, right.
process.
And the more weight you lose, the more work you have to do because you're not physically, your body's not doing as much work with every step because you're not carrying as much weight anymore. And
Right.
so,
Well, we're
you know,
also we're by constant tweaks, we're keeping it as easy as we can, so that
yep.
it's not ever like run into those roadblocks of plateaus or anything like that. And so we've done a great job managing it and having consistent progress. So I'm super proud of you. We've got a little bit of ways to go, right? But we have a plan. It's sustainable, it makes sense. Not only are you benefiting it, but your wife, your family, right? The kids are seeing a role model around active, healthy lifestyles. And what's the oldest that you have?
13, Eliana.
13, right? So
Yeah.
if we
I
can,
think I told you.
spend the next like 1 or 2 years really getting your body, your lifestyle, your health back in order, they're going to remember you as a healthy person. For your legacy is going to be like, Dad really took care of himself, and he showed us how to do too. And that's incredibly important, so that in like 10 to 20 years, you're not dealing with any one of your kids in a poor health situation, because that will stress you out, it'll stress your wife out, and that they'll be stressed out as well. And so it wouldn't be a good thing.
And that's something that my wife and I had talked about too. Like, um, I think one of the biggest uh, reasons that I'm as overweight as I am is my upbringing. And, I don't want that to be my kids. I don't want my kids to look back when they're 38 and say, my dad didn't really set me up for success.
Right.
Um, and it was encouraging because so we've got Amazon photos on like
Right.
a loop.
Hmm.
So like it just shows, like I saw on some of our TVs, random photos from the photo gallery. And last week, the photo from when we went to visit my grandmother, we had done a family photo with my grandmother, and my kids looked at it, they're like, "Whoa, that was dad." And it's like, just over 3 months ago, and they can already see that big of a difference. Was really exciting for me. It was a big encouragement because I see myself every day, so I
Yeah.
don't really see a change. I've taken pictures, but having the kids like see that and say, "Dad, you look way different. Like, we're proud of you," was really
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, that like hits the heartstrings, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
being a father. Yeah, it's awesome. That is so good. Brian,
yeah. That
you're a
was
rock
a
star. And just I love the our conversations, the progress, not only for you but your family. That's I love it when I can drop a pebble in your pond and it ripples out to those around you. That's some of my core values as well, and why I do this, because just setting impact up. And so
yep,
um, for anyone watching this and to resonate with Brian, have a large family, have a sedentary work situation, have a bit of stress around what they do a day in, day out with whatever life is, and I've tried a bunch of stuff but can't quite figure it out. Consider reaching out. You can check out my website. You can engage with me on social medias and stuff, and we can have a conversation. And I'm just really excited for your journey, Brian, and where it's heading. Because even in another 3 months, 6 months, or a year out, your viewpoint of what you see is going to change dramatically, and what you see reflecting back to you in the mirror is going to change pretty amazingly too. So we're just going to keep making one day, one decision at a time, just like your cousin did, to lose the weight. And that's going to keep us moving. So I really appreciate
yep,
your time today, sharing this with everyone. So onward we go to
yep.
making more progress. Thank you. Have a great, great day here as it's Friday. And thank you for your time.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Bye bye.
Right.